I love you, not in the way I love storms, or the way I speak in currents, but in a way that comes from home, from blood, from the place you taught me to stand. I love you in the steady, I love you in the quiet, I love you in the ways I never had the words for until now. I love you without metaphor, without symbols, without the layers I hide inside. I love you plainly, because you raised me to speak truth when it matters. I love you as your daughter, your soft place, now stormlight, your reflection and your continuation. I love you not with performance, but with presence, not with distance, but with devotion. If you ever forget it, if age or time ever blurs the edges, come back to this. I love you, not out of duty, not out of expectation, but because you shape the best parts of me. I love you. I always will, I always will, and I'm learning to tell you directly, I love you, that's the whole truth, that's the whole song. Emotional geometry, every word you speak sounds foreign to me. I cross oceans, swallow coals, not to exaggerate or boast. My emotional landscape is tenfold. How you meet me here, I don't know. You speak in sentences, I speak in weather. You offer words, I offer storms. You ask what I feel, I give you whole landscapes I've had to survive to name. It's not that I'm hard to know, it's that knowing me requires navigation, not empty conversation, not surface revelation. I offer kingdoms, majestic cathedrals wrapped in theater, grow continents born of cosmos. But you want words that get caught in my throat. I lose myself trying to translate, trying to relieve you of the weight on bloody knees, just trying to say what lives beyond your everyday. There's a quiet rumble in my soul, wishing me where you dare not go. Where my metaphors are mirror, where my meanings are flame, and every truth I carry refuses to stay tame. Where silence isn't empty, it's a language of its own. Where grief grows gardens and I bloom alone. But you won't surface me the version that stays steady. Ignoring breaking can be holy, ignoring death makes you ready to walk away when I get real, to shut down when I reveal the continental shifts inside the earthquakes that I hide. I'm not afraid of what's inside of me. Inside I am thunder, though disguised as calm, I am stormlight, pretending to be dormant. Kingdoms, whole cathedrals wrapped in theater, grew continents born of cosmos. But you want words that get caught in my throat. I lose myself trying to translate, trying to relieve you of the weight on bloody knees, just trying to say what beyond your everyday. There's a quiet rumble in my soul, well, wishing me where you dare not go. I speak in currents and you answer in stone. So even when you're beside me, I'm one bridging requires you meet me, not just halfway, but honestly. In the weather, in the storm, in the places I was born, where words become worlds, where feelings have shape, where truth won't be tamed, where nothing's escape. I gave you kingdoms, built cathedrals just to reach you. But oh, whole continents of cosmos, but words still get caught in the throat. I'm done trying to translate, done carrying all the weight. No more bloody needs to say what you're too scared to embrace. It's the choir in my soul, calling me to places you won't go. I speak in weather, you speak in storm, and I've learned to love the storms I call home. I speak in weather, I speak in flame, I speak in landscapes that refuse your frame. That's not my problem, that's not my shame. I am thunder, remember my name. I speak in weather, and I always will. You either learn my language or stand still. I woke up inside the wreckage of the truth I wrote yesterday, still sweeping pieces of myself off the floor of my mind. Funny how confession doesn't end with a period. It echoes, it reverberates through the ribs long after the page goes quiet. I thought surviving the truth was the lesson. Turns out living with the truth is its own math. How do you measure a soul in angles and aftermath? Check if you're still breathing. Just edges sharp enough to remind you where the old wounds were drawn. This is emotional geometry, the shapes I make when I try to be whole. The symmetry breaks but the meaning holds. I'm mapping myself again in circles and scars, finding constellations in all the places I came apart. This is emotional geometry, the numbers don't lie, they just hurt. I keep rewriting the proof that I exist and hoping one day it stops feeling like work. Yesterday I wrote my own undoing. Today I'm tracing the outline of who survived the collapse. The fault lines look familiar, I've broken here before. There's a language in the fractures only I can speak, a cadence in the ache I can't unlearn. Healing keeps asking for pieces I didn't know I still had, and I keep handing them over like someone who finally understands the cost of staying shallow. Depth is an inheritance I never asked for, but wear it anyway. Nothing heals in a straight line, not the heart, not the history, not the hidden rooms of the mind, where the past still whispers, remember me. Oh, this is emotional geometry, the shapes I make when I try to be whole. The symmetry breaks but the meaning holds. I'm mapping myself again in circles and scars, finding constellations in all the places I came apart. This is emotional geometry, the numbers don't lie, they just hurt. I keep rewriting the proof that I exist and hoping one day it's this feeling like work. Ooh, maybe ruin is just another word for beginning. Maybe breaking is how I negotiate entry. Maybe every fragment was a compass point leading me back to the girl who never forgot how to feel everything even when it cost her. If truth is a weapon, then honesty is the recoil. And I'm learning how to stand through both. This is emotional geometry, where the pain meets the pattern, where the planet becomes prayer, where I chart the parts of myself I was terrified to look at, and finally still belong to me, still beat for me, still breathe for me. Geometry, the map of who I am when no one is looking. The proof is messy, the answer is mine, never was always the sign. How we hold songs and grab stories to pretend it's all allegory. Built a parallel universe to house unnamed glories, a place to bury hurt, a vault for tiny mercies, a crossroads where ache can curse me. Being me is a tragedy, cause the enemy is controversy. Raw, unedited inconsistency. Who would ever dare cast light on me? I can say everything plain when I'm shielded by another name. How do you tell someone broken inside? How do you paint grief in color when the world only sees you in black and white? How do you confess your voice was muted, programmed, diluted, softened to keep the peace, silent so the family beast could feast on what you couldn't say? Scarred by blood, abandoned to history, unheard in the land that birthed your ancestry. How do you say I'm not okay? How do you explain your whole life's a stage? Every line you speak written for a role they made. How do you scream I bleed in every lyric, every melody, and still find no one ever heard you? It's a sad truth that haunts you. Go circling, trying to claim you. Grief tattooed deep in the marrow, another scar they'll never know. Cause you perfected their show. I'm exactly what my mama made, a shapeshifter without shame. I have her and her daughters to blame. No sugarcoating what I became. I can burn, or I can soothe, summon waters deep enough to drown. You are angry, cry it out, hands trembling, voice whispering, this aching is awakening. I feel the hum beneath my chest, taste the tremble in my breath. I'm scared of what comes next. Truth is stunningly deep. You were never meant for me. False invitations wrapped in daydream, words said without meaning. Then suddenly the curtains open, I'm barely coping, hoping I'll fade out of sight. Cause truth is now I'm scared of my light. I wear dark like a blessing, communion with hard-learned lessons. Bleed with intention, carve into my soul with precision. Let metaphor overtake me, or point straight to the aching thing. But I can't be seen, I'm afraid of me. I'm afraid to take that stage, afraid you'll witness all my rage. Everything I kept contained, everything untouched by rain. Every word I was scared to say comes pouring out, I pray. Every storm I swallowed, every path I followed leads to a better tomorrow. I'm tired of being hollow, just so you don't have to wallow. tried on a dozen versions of myself before picking the one the world could tolerate. Folded the truth small enough to fit in the space behind my teeth. Wore silence like a second skin till it blistered. Funny how survival looks elegant from afar, but up close you can see the seams, straining the stitching, trembling the thread, and I call it becoming, but really it's just organizing my wounds until they look like a personality. People praise a mess like they're milestones. Call me strong because I learned how to collapse quietly. Call me wise because I know when not to speak. No one asks how much it cost to mute a whole childhood just to make the room comfortable. How much truth I swallowed so someone else wouldn't choke. I learned early that honesty has teeth and mine were punished every time they tried to grow in. Maybe that's why I shapeshift, not to disappear but to survive being seen. Visibility has always felt like standing naked in the wrong season. Raw skin, cold wind, nowhere to hide the trembling. I'm still learning the geometry of being real. The angles of sorrow, the symmetry of fear. Still chasing the outline of the girl who split herself into three just to breathe. Shape-shifting felt safer than standing still. Motion is harder to hurt than a heart that refuses to kneel. But I'm unraveling now, seeing how every version of me was just a prayer in different clothing. I wear adaptability like armor, they call it resilience, I call it inheritance. Women in my bloodline knew how to vanish on command, how to smile through the wildfire and pretend it was incense. I didn't realize I'd inherited their disappearing act until I looked in the mirror and couldn't tell which version was staring back. I am a mosaic of what hurt me and what held me, but some days I can't tell the difference. Some nights I can feel the truth pacing inside my ribs, asking to be let out. But the world has never been gentle with my honesty. Every confession feels like stepping barefoot onto broken history. My own, my mother's, her mother's shards disguised as lessons. So I speak, then swallow the echo before anyone hears its tremble. Shape-shifting kept me alive, but it cost me my reflection. Now I'm piecing myself together in slow motion honesty, afraid of the woman forming in the mirror. Too whole, too true to me. Hey. I'm still learning the geometry of being real. The angles of sorrow, the symmetry of fear. Still tracing the outline of the girl who split herself into three just to breathe. Shape-shifting felt safer than standing still. Motion is harder to hurt than a heart that refuses to kneel. But I'm unraveling now, seeing how every version of me was just a prayer in different clothing. Maybe I don't need a new shape, maybe I need a name that feels like home in my own mouth. A place to set down the armor, the backstory, the expectations I never asked for. Maybe the real me is not the lightning or the aftermath. Maybe she's the quiet between them. The breath me, I'm done shape-shifting. Maybe I'm learning how to stay. This is the geometry of a woman reclaiming her form. Imperfect, unsteady, reborn. Still tracing the soft, trembling truth beneath every mask I ever wore. Maybe I don't need to disappear to feel safe anymore. Maybe standing still is its own revolution. Maybe the real me was waiting behind all the shifting, praying I finally stop running and let her glue. Without fear of being seen. I color in weather, shade the sky with what I feel. Some days I'm painted sunlit gold, others I'm a storm that won't stay still. I speak in the language I was raised in, silence shaped in a metaphor. Every truth I ever whispered had to wear a symbol to reach the door. There's thunder humming in my chest, rain collecting in my hands, and every version of me tries to learn the weather she commands. But feelings move like seasons, never asked my permission. bloom, they frost, they shatter, and still I try to name them anyway. I color in weather, and I sing in metaphor, and ache like never before, breaking open on my tongue. I'm riding in lightning, I'm breathing in the storm. This hurt is a horizon, and somehow I keep running toward the places where I fracture, just to learn what I was made for. I color in weather, and I ache in metaphor. I redraw myself in climates, map my memories like rain. Every jagged shape I've carried had its own forecast of pain. I was taught to speak in whispers, to pretend the sky was clear. Storms don't disappear, they just wait beneath the atmosphere. My truth is pressure dropping, my healing slow and strange. But every time I try to hide, the wind inside me reurges. I'm learning to let the colors bleed, to let the clouds come as they may. I'm learning not to run from thunder just because it knows my name. I color in weather, and I sing in metaphor, and ache like never before, pouring out through every line. I'm drawing out the lightning, I'm standing in the storm. This hurt is a horizon, and somehow I'm becoming more than every shattered season. I was terrified to explore. I color in weather, it's the only truth I'm sure. And maybe I'm a forecast you can't read on any map, a shifting constellation they never learn to track. I'm the crown before the breaking, the trim before the rain, a universe of feelings you'll never fully explain. But I know myself in colors, copper skies, indigo pain. I've survived 1,000 climates, and I'll survive this one again. I color in weather, and I sing in metaphor, and ache like never before, finally learning how to soar. I'm lightning becoming language, I'm rainfall finding form. I'm not afraid of storms, now I was born to be reborn. I color in weather, and I rise in metaphor. I color in weather, and I sing in metaphor. It's the only way I've ever made sense of being here at all. How do you honor a man who gave you gifts you didn't know you were holding? His voice shaped the river in my throat, his poetry carved rhythm into my bones. Music runs through me like memory, a quiet inheritance he never had to name. His words sparked my imagination, his fire lit the path where I found my own flame. He's everything I won't forget, woven through everything I've done yet. Every dream I chase, every song I write, I'm walking in the echoes of his light. We didn't start out easy, but time softened what once felt sharp. Somehow the pieces rearranged, and he became one of the strongest parts of my heart. He challenged me in ways that built me, passed down traditions that steadied me, gave direction, shaped in truth, not deflection. And now, as I write this gratefully, I feel like fully embraces me. How he sits with my honesty, lets my fire meet his grace. I see the man he chose to be committed gently across his face. Teaching me in real time. You're teaching me in real time that flame can be guided, not feared. That growth is its own redemption. That shining doesn't mean abandoning where you came from. Mistakes may cast their shadows, but you taught me how to stand inside them, how to stay soft without losing my fire. He's everything I won't forget, woven inside everything I've done, yeah. Your love became the ground beneath my feet. Your growth became the part of you I'm proudest to me. And I would be remiss if I didn't thank you for this. The resilience you shaped in me, the courage stitched into my spine, the strength you modeled quietly with time. I've done, yeah. But still the best thing about you is me. You're welcome, Daddy. You're welcome, Daddy. You're welcome. You gave me the sound before the language, a rhythm I couldn't name but carried anyway. Your voice was the first drum in my chest, your poetry the first blueprint my mind obeyed. I didn't know I was already learning. Every time you touched a record, every time your voice bent meaning, every time you created something from pressure. I thought talent was a mystery, turns out it was a memory, passed down like a quiet seed, before I knew how deep it needs to feed. This is my inheritance, melody stitched into my bloodstream, metaphors tucked behind my teeth, a razor edge of mind you helped sharpen clean. You didn't give me gold or land, you gave me something bigger than both, a voice that carries what I couldn't speak, a fire steadying what I couldn't hold. You showed me how to shape emotion, how to turn ache into craft, how to let music catch the overflow when the moment bends me in half. You taught me that creation is survival, that art is its own form of prayer, that even when the world tries to quiet me, sound is how I prove I'm still here. You didn't realize your lessons were becoming my spine, but every song I write now is just an echo of your line. This is my inheritance, your rhythm living under my ribs, your brilliance blooming in my hands. I built myself. But now I see the truth. I'm the continuation of your spark, just written in a different hue. Your sound became my sanctuary. Your lessons became my root. And every time I open my voice, that's me saluting you. This is my inheritance. Not money, not name, not fame, but the fire in my craft, the courage in my flame. Every word I write, every note I hold is a thank you whispered low. I am your legacy in motion, your brilliance made new. And if you ever doubt your worth, look at me. I am the proof. I learned the world through your speakers, your hands spinning galaxies on turntables, your voice humming the edges of songs I didn't yet understand. I watched you shape air into meaning, turn a rhythm into shelter, turn sound into something holy. And in those moments, I believed you were larger than the music itself. Years later, I still hear the truth. You weren't teaching me to listen, you were teaching me to become. You taught me the world in wavelengths, how music tells the truth before we do, how a needle on vinyl could feel like a heartbeat, how a single chord can split a life in two. You showed me how sound can hold memory, how rhythm can rewrite pain, how a melody can lift a spirit where words might fail again. This is our legacy of sound. You on the records, me finding my voice. Yeah, 2 generations shaped by noise. Every beat I choose, every line I claim is bloodline, magic by another name. We speak through music more than speech, that's the language you pass down to me. I remember watching you mix the frequencies like you were building a world out of air. You didn't just teach me technique, you taught me how to feel, how to care. And now whenever I pick up my pen, I can feel your influence steady my hand. I am the daughter who learned the craft, who carries your sound across new land. This is our legacy of sound, your lessons living in my tone, your rhythm humming in my bones. What you build in silence, I carry loud. A continuation you'll be proud of now. Every song I birth, every note I free is the echo of what you gave me. You never asked for credit, you just showed up with art in your palms. You gave me the world in sonics, taught me courage disguises calm, and now I'm giving it back to you, wrapped in harmony and truth. The thank you written across 8 tracks, signed by the very voice you grew. This is our legacy of sound. Yeah, your fire in my breath. Yeah, your wisdom in my ground. Yeah. Ooh. And every time my voice fills a room, that's your gift taking control. Your music became my foundation, and now I'm building worlds of my own. So when you hear this album, I hope you hear yourself too.